Hey, Granny Gear here for 29inches.com. We're second day of Dirt Demo Days, and we're at the Yeti booth right now. We just got off the Yeti SB95, the new 5-inch travel, 120mm full suspension 29er that Yeti just brought out of the closet recently. Got a hot lap on Demo Days. We're going to talk to Stretch here from Yeti Cycles. He's going to tell us a little bit about the bike. Then I think we'll maybe talk to the suspension link designer, and we'll see what he has to say about this new system and how it worked and how it got developed. So hang on just a second, here we go. You're up.
Right on, how's it going? This is Stretch here from Yeti Cycles, and we're just going to run you through the SB95 real quick here. As you can see here, basically we have if you're familiar with the SB96, which is our 6-inch travel bike with a 26-inch wheel. We just have a naming convention that kind of goes along with that. So this is the SB95, meaning a 29-inch wheel and a 5-inch travel bike. So it's 120 millimeters. The fork is a 120mm Fox 34, and that's what we're setting up as stock. And this bike right here has our Yeti chip system in the rear. So with the rear axle, you can run a QR 135. You could run a 142 with a Shimano axle, or a 142 with a DT axle as well. Geometry-wise, this bike has a 17.5-inch chainstay, 68.5-degree head tube angle, 72-degree seat tube angle, 13.2-inch bottom bracket. And the main thing here is that this bike is using our new switch technology, which uses the same suspension platform as our SB96, and it has an eccentric here as a lower link. So essentially it's a dual link design with a really short lower link, which allows us to do some really unique things suspension wise. We can really control our rate of chain growth, and we can control when we want it to be high and when we want it to be low. And the end result is you get a bike that pedals really excellently. It's very efficient, but then it'll descend like a little mini DH bike. So you kind of get the best of both worlds when it comes to a trail bike. And that's it.
Cool, man. Hey, I don't know, maybe you said, can we run how big a fork can we run on that?
You know, right now we are set stock with the 120, and we don't have an official word on what we're going to say is the max at the moment. We're still kind of testing it at that phase, but we'll definitely, likely be able to run a bigger fork than the 120, but just no official word at the moment.
So my opinion is that 120 is the new 100. So why did you guys hit 120? There's a 130 bikes out there, and there's a lot of 100 bikes out there. What do you see as 120?
You know, in the 29er world, it seems like you can get a bike with a little bit less travel than, say a 26-inch bike. So we're really happy on the 26-inch bike at a 6-inch travel. So something that's kind of comparable to that, to what we're used to riding, what we prefer to ride in Colorado. So that's really what motivated us for the 120. It seems like a kind of a magic number right now is for a 29-inch bike.
Yeah. No, I agree. Hey, man, I appreciate your time. Thanks, Stretch.
Of course, thank you.
All right. We're going to talk to Luke from Soto. Is that right? Did I get it right? Soto Engineering. And they had a hand in developing the new suspension system for the Yeti SB95 that I just rode. We're going to talk to Luke a little bit. We're going to get a little bit input from him on what's behind the design on that and what they had in mind and how it works. Here we go. Okay, so Luke, tell me a little bit about this. You guys eliminated the link, but is it a link system still? I mean,
it works just like any other short link system. The big thing is that by making the link shorter, it lets you do some interesting things with the kinematics, and it takes up a smaller space on the bike. So also by being sort of in proximity with the chain line of the bike, it lets you do some other interesting things. So that's sort of the key to the system, is having a very short link that's in the chain line.
Well, it seems to me that allows for a little more rigid chassis.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big part of it, is making things light because it's smaller, and by making things close together, it makes it more rigid. And also, when you think about it, it's a very short link, or it's also a very large diameter axle. So either way, both of those things help make bikes more rigid.
Well, I just rode it, and I was very impressed. I had it open. I had no platform other than what was built into the shock, so I was running it in the open position. And I found it to be, there just didn't seem to have any bad habits, I noticed. It pedaled snappy, it took up the bumps, and I was riding a little bit firm, but I was really impressed. It worked good.
Yeah, we do some things, and Yeti, I should say, does some things differently than, or the system, than a lot of other bikes out there. And it really lets you decouple the pedaling performance and the bump absorption. So it has a fairly flat shock rate. You hear a lot of people talking about really rising rate suspension systems, and that means basically that as you compress the bike, as you're hitting a bump, that it gets harder and harder to compress it further. And by having a pretty flat shot rate, you are able to let the oil flow smoothly and easily in the damper, and it really just lets things open up on big impacts. But you know,
it pedaled great. It really did. You know, on the trails, what matters, and it was really performing. So talk a little bit about the durability testing. It's a brand new system. I know some people are saying, wow, you know, what, you know, is this something brand new and scary? But you know, what went on behind
everything
it?
that's in there is something that's been on bikes for a long time in terms of the mechanics. There's nothing really different or scary about it, you know. It's just that it's all in a smaller package.
Okay.
So, you know, the bearing durability, it's all sealed, and it's been tested for 4 years before anybody in the public even laid eyes on it. So
is it pretty user serviceable? Can I work on it in my garage?
Yeti has some awesome videos on their webpage for the 26-inch bike that shows one of them being assembled, and you know, it's like, yeah, no special tools whatsoever.
Do you think it has applications for longer travel?
Yeah, I think it can do whatever you want. So right now, it's a matter of just rolling out the bikes.
Yeah.
I think longer travel or shorter travel, it was just sort of trying to aim at the meat of the market to start out with. So it'll sort of depend on where things go.
All right, hey man, I appreciate your time, and you know, you guys did a great job so far. I was really impressed riding. I think people are going to like this bike.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it's a lot of fun.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.